She was gifted, she was really smart, she had this amazing outgoing personality. She had so much to offer the world. Why the heck would you put somebody that exceptional and hide them from the rest of the world? You know, and that was a big thing that I struggled with, and I think a lot of people do. But in the end, what I realized is that she's actually affecting a lot of people. I mean, there are people who write her constantly. She's helped people through divorces, like ex-teammates, friends, relatives, and other Villanova players.
On behalf of all of our friends and colleagues here at ESPN, Liz, we just want to wish you congratulations for being named a 2020 recipient of the Dan Jenkins Medal for Excellence in Sports Writing. Your story about Shelley Panafather giving up her career as a basketball player to become a cloistered nun touched the hearts of everyone who read it. And I know how much this honor means to you because I know how much this story means to you. You spent months reporting, talking to family, talking to friends, former teammates, and former coach Harry Peretta. And in the end, you just had an amazing story. It was the perfect Liz Merrill story. Perfect subject, perfect writer, perfect time.
You know, the whole thing was really up in the air. We didn't know if we'd get any access whatsoever. The initial talk, now this was like last spring, and so my editor, Janet Genevieve, had mentioned something about this story, and I definitely want to do it. I told her right away, I think that's a great story idea. I mean, who would ever think of something, you know, that she was making a lot of money back, you know, in the early 90s. Who would think of someone would make this kind of sacrifice?
Rereading Liz's story again and again and again reminds me what fine journalism is, what wonderful narrative writing is, that wonderful blend of personal touches. It's just a great blend of a well-written story that knows where it's going before you, the reader, does. And when you get there, you're so happy you went along on the journey. Congratulations on a fabulous piece.
So it went from like basically no access to a lot of access. But in the meantime, it was really important to get to know her ex-teammates, her family, to sort of get an idea of how something like this, what was this born out of, like these experiences, you know, to get an idea of who she was.
The great reporting that Liz did on it was that circle of friends and acquaintances and a near fiance outside of the convent. And she brought all those elements to the story and built it out so beautifully. And I think really gave a window on a world that we have very little understanding or appreciation of, but folded in the basketball element that familiarized Shelley to so many people who read that story.
There was a bunch of things I walked away with. I was really moved by the sort of bonds that tie people, that those teammates were still so connected to her, that Harry Peretta, I mean, gosh, he's had 3 decades worth of teams, right? But yet there's still that connection.
What really struck me was the trust that family had in you and her teammates to tell that story. That's a tough story to tell, but it's an amazing journey that she went on. And by the time you got down to the end and you wrapped it up with her mom, I'm like going, oh my heavens.
When you think of all the amazing stories he wrote and what he's for, it makes you feel something. Even there is nothing mundane that I don't think he's ever written. He just poured his heart into everything he did. And he left you with something on most occasions.